betrothal.
Well, I had hoped she would report my news.
I too might turn to writing vicious.
She is hellborn.
I think she is a
Cressida Cowper.
I've been worried.
There's nowhere else I would rather be. Kindnesses she has written about you, Whistledown might be more full as you. Where's all this ink? Leave you to it.
Writer. He is rescinded under my roof and tarnishing my...
Papa, you cannot do that. Aunt Joanna lives in... You do not believe me?
Amongst them.
We are selling.
Members of the Ton are perplexed as we start out since Lady Whistledown hasn't released her morning scandal sheet. As Penelope Featherington, Nicola Coughlan tries to create a pamphlet criticising Cressida Cooper's absurd statement. We hear Julie Andrews' voice as Lady Whistledown. Pen, however, rips the paper and throws it aside since she doesn't like what she writes. Pen gets a guest. As Lady Portia Featherington, Polly Walker bursts through the door. Following Pen's fainting at the engagement party, Luke Newton's character Colin Bridgerton checks up on her to make sure she's okay. Pen tells him she's all right. Colin presents her with a traditional engagement ring while she tries to hide her hand soiled with ink. It's quite beautiful. In the meantime, Cressida, Jessica Madsen at the Cooper residence is informed by Lord Cooper, Dominic Coleman, that Lord Greer has withdrawn his proposal of marriage. She tries not to show too much enthusiasm. Cooper tells her that he is sending her to live with her Aunt Jo in Wales. Joanna Bobbin's character, Lady Cooper, begs her daughter to retract her assertion that she is Lady Whistledown after Lord Cooper storms out. Although she thinks Cressida has abilities, she doesn't think writer is one of them. Then, Lady Agatha Danbury, a Joa Ando, is informed by Will and Alice Mondrick, Martin Zimhangbe and Emma Naomi that Will intends to sell his club. Agatha exclaims that the Queen will be overjoyed as she rejoices. She advises the Mondricks to make every effort to distinguish themselves from the crowd. Maybe a grandiose ball will solve the problem. Then, in order to get his hat back, Lord Marcus Anderson, Daniel Francis visits Lady Violet Bridgerton's, Ruth Gemmell residence. He praises her for entertainingly co-hosting Pollen's engagement celebration alongside Kate. Marcus is asked by Violet about the conflict with his sister. He claims they'll work things out because it's just childhood grievances. Violet follows him out of the drawing room, where she finds Benedict, played by Luke Thompson, Gregory, played by Will Tilston, and Hyacinth, played by Florence Hunt, arguing over macaroons. Eloise, Claudia Jessie, who is reading a book, is seated next to Violet. As Colin walks into the room, Eloise puts down her book, curious to know his thoughts on the Whistledown incident. In the meantime, Victor Ali's character John Sterling, Lord Kilmartin and Hannah Dodd's character Francesca attempt to inform the family of something. It's funny how John jokes about them not replying and him having the disease. After gaining her family's approval, Francesca announces her engagement to John. Everyone gives the delighted couple a hug. As Eloise enters Colin's study, he asks her whether she was aware that Cressida was Lady Whistledown. Lying, Eloise says she didn't. She intends to end her relationship with Cressida right now, though. Eloise queries Colin about his plans about Whistledown. Colin says that everything has softened him lately and that Pen's welfare is the one thing that worries him. Oh no. Eloise goes to see Pen later to let her know what Colin said. Cressida is pursuing the LW initiative. Pen says that she had to create a piece that challenges Cressida's authority. Pen is Whistledown, after all. She refuses to let Cressida take away her life's labor. Eloise turns around, dissuading Pen from telling Colin who she is. Then, in order to meet with the Queen, Cressida and her mother go to the palace. Hugh Saxe Brimsley leads them into the throne room. Cressida is asked by Queen Charlotte, Golda Roshuvel, why she hasn't revealed her identity as Lady Whistledown earlier. According to Cressida, she wants to get her prize and lend the Queen all assistance she can. The Queen responds that the genuine LW wouldn't extend such a simple offer of support. Her Majesty threatens to expel Cressida from her court unless the latter prints a convincing issue. Violet, John, and Francesca are having tea together in the meantime. John is aware that the Queen didn't first consider him for Fran. The pair would want Violet to announce their intention to marry Queen Charlotte. She had, after all, already met the Queen. Violet seems uncomfortable. In another scene, Penn's wedding and celebration are being planned by Portia and Varley, Lorraine Ashbourne, who remark that the carriage ought to have gilded flowers on it. On the opposite side of the room are James Foon as Mr. Dankworth, Prudence, Bessie Carter, Harriet Keynes as Philippa, and Lorne MacDonald as Mr. Finch. Prudence and Philippa are jealous. Their mother did not take thus much time to arrange their marriages. They didn't marry men who had endless money, Portia says. Following that, Portia and Penn had a brief conversation. She describes the late Lord Featherington to her daughter as a weak, harsh guy. He treated her badly. Given how uncommon it is to find a love match, she is happy that Penn has. In the meantime, Benedict and Hannah New's character, Lady Tilly Arnold, relish one another's company and a little breakfast. Tilly tells them that she and her buddy Paul are going to host a dinner party. She values Paul greatly. On the last night of the latter's club, Benedict, Colin, John, and Will are seated there. It's about time to close. Will serves them some beverages. Everyone makes jokes about the bad luck. Benny discusses his lack of direction. John quips that he's fortunate to have seen another bottle. Colin discloses that he is penning a travelogue. This moment is really great, especially when you see John's future brothers-in-law getting along. After that, Penn, Portia, Violet, Colin, Agatha, and Marcus go to church, where Pollen's engagement to Agatha is formally proclaimed. Fortunately, no one objections to their upcoming marriage. We find out in 3 weeks they are getting married. Poland share a dance in the area where they would exchange vows after everyone leaves the chapel. It's just too cute. Penn admits she has loved Colin ever since they first met. Agatha brings Marcus to a widowed friend of hers outside the chapel. She desires that he avoid Violet. Eloise and Cressida reconcile in the interim. Why did Cressida come forward? Eloise wonders. She claims that her life is lonely. She wants Eloise to go with her. Maybe they could collaborate on writing Lady Whistledown issues in the future. Eloise reminds Cressida of what Penn, sick written about her in the previous year. She admits that she is no longer able to work with or remain friends with Cressida. Cressida snaps in agony. In another scene, Violet informs Agatha about Fran and John's desire for her to represent them in speaking with the Queen. Although Violet respects the match, she is concerned that the Queen may discover her reservations if she presses too hard. Queen Charlotte could therefore feel empowered to reject the match. Agatha continues. Colin and Penn then become involved in the discussion. Violet gives them a big hug while Fran looks on, dejected. She and John appear less enthused about Poland than her mother is. Subsequently, Penn hides her writing instruments under her room's floorboards at the Featherington residence. The Mrix then get ready to throw their very first ball. Penn goes to the modiste to choose out fabric swatches for her bridal gown. Penn meets up with Madame Delacroix, Catherine Drysdale, who wishes her well on her impending marriage. Delacroix believes Penn will go on writing under the pen name Lady Whistledown and inform Colin of her progress. Penn, meanwhile, says she intends to give Cressida the credit. She is going to stop writing as L.W. Delacroix acknowledges that she is unsure if she can give up her job as a modiste because she enjoys it so much. MD is gently urging Penn to continue writing. Later, Cressida is spotted by Lady Cooper at a desk. As Lady Whistledown, Cressida explains that she is penning a complete issue in an attempt to convince the Queen to award her the £5,000. Lady Cooper reveals that her husband plans to give Cressida her dowry back. Following Cressida's unveiling, Lord Cooper was expelled from his club. Thus, she gives Cressida encouragement to pen that scandal sheet. Although the prize money is little, it could be sufficient for Cressida to survive until she finds a spouse in the country. Cressida is asked to read what Lady Cooper has so far. Still, it's not that good. Lady Cooper's mind is seen to be working. Tilly's buddy Paul, Lucas Aurelio, hosts supper for Tilly and Benedict that evening. Paul inquires about Benedict's hobbies. Does he apply paint? Compose? Other than doing his obligations as a member of the Ton and occasionally attending balls, Benny doesn't do much. The topic of Tilly and Paul's first meeting comes up. Paul becomes more receptive to Benny once he starts telling jokes. Benny, my child, is really endearing. The Mrix toss a spectacular ball in the meantime. When Agatha presents her brother to other widows, he appears ecstatic. Abruptly, the Queen shows up. She doesn't appear impressed until the enormous dance floor centerpiece unfolds to show exquisite floral arrangements. Her Majesty gives the go-ahead. She gives Alice a nod. Fran then insists that her mother speak to Queen Charlotte now that she is here. Violet is adamant that she will speak with Agatha about scheduling a time at court to talk to the Queen. There is currently too much going on. Fran, nevertheless, takes this to mean that Violet disapproves of John. She walks off furiously. Violet pauses for a moment before getting up to leave the dance floor. Agatha catches Marcus as he excuses himself from his group of widowers to follow her. Here is where we ultimately discover the source of the conflict between the two. Years ago, Agatha came dangerously close to breaking free from her forced marriage to Lord Danbury. But before Agatha could go away, Marcus alerted his father about her escape plot. She was forced to consummate the marriage. This scene features an amazing Adjoa Ando. This scenario is just what I've been hoping for, because Lady Danbury is such a fantastic character. Benedict and Paul then take in some clean night air. Paul goes inside to let Tilly know that Benedict appears willing to participate. Benny witnesses Paul and Tilly sharing a kiss. Benedict is asked to join the couple. Benny, who is clearly upset, gives an excuse, saying he has to get someplace before he departs. Well, I wonder whether he'll decide to join the threesome later on. Afterwards, Lady Cooper and Cressida show up for the Mrix party. There are whispers and gasps from the entire crowd. Cressida is encouraged to keep her head high by Lady Cooper. As they get to the dance floor, Colin informs Pen he's been working on a novel. She offers to help him modify it. Colin tells her he intends to earn her respect and then abruptly stops dancing. Pen and he see Cressida conversing with the Queen. A message from Lady Whistledown is then brought by servants onto the dance floor, and Cressida lets her work speak for itself. It sounds like something written by Pen. Pulling up her glove, Lady Cooper displays ink smears on her arm. She intervened in order to support her daughter. Impresses, looks Queen Charlotte. She says that when Cressida releases a whole issue, they can talk about her prize. Pen then leaves the dance floor with Eloise in tow. Colin watches as they both walk away. Eloise freaks out, thinking there will be more controversy at the Bridgertons as a result. Pen swears that she won't allow Cressida go any farther. Before Cressida releases hers, she will release another issue. Pen asserts, Whistledown is power. That night, while she scribbles down a fresh Whistledown page, Pen writes to her publisher. She meets Colin after sending it in to be published. Colin discovers that Lady Whistledown, not Cressida Cooper, is his true fiancée.